So now let's go on to the actual steps. Number one, I have 5 steps here. This is a 5-step process. Let's just go overview them all right now. And this 5-step process is what it takes to create your lead capture pages into these concierge type of pages. All right, this is the exact 5-step process you're gonna have to take. All right, and I recommend if this takes you 5 hours, then do it. If it takes you 50 hours, then do it. You're gonna be so grateful that you did this now in the beginning when it comes 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down the line, because first of all, you'll have a higher lead conversion ratio, and number two, your overhead at that point in the future is going to be minimal. You're going to be able to wake up, spend 1 hour, doing your work and everything. And one example I like to give is like a trial attorney. All right, where does a trial attorney spend most of their work? It's in the research before the trial, during discovery, during all that stuff. During the process before the trial is where all their work is spent in researching, preparing for the case. Once the trial begins, they don't really add anything else to it unless there's things that get newly discovered things. But in general, they don't add anything else to it because they already created their system of what they're going to present. So it's just a matter of doing all the steps they prepared, and that's not the hard part for them. It's actually the preparation, the trial, the research. That's where the money is made in a sense. Same thing here. Your website. The money's going to be made in the planning and preparing of your website content. So if you think this is boring, if you think this is a waste of time, then your website is going to fail. There's no other way to put it. Your website will fail in the long run because you're going to find yourself having to recreate everything and wasting time. All right. So, all right. Number one. All right. I'm going to give you a brief overview. Then we'll go into each. Number one. Understand your pages and what they're supposed to provide. What I mean by this is I'm going to teach you what was the intention when Tizish created your website. And we say we're going to have the good or bad market. What will my home really sell for? Deal of the month. And maybe your buttons might be named different. You might have a button that says how's the market instead, good or bad market. Testing showed that both of them work just as good. There's not one that's worse or better than the other. We just like to just do variations to keep on progressing it. So anyhow, you're going to learn what are all these buttons, and then what are these buttons here, like questions, ask an agent. You need to learn about what was the intention of that button in the first place. How should you be using it? All right. Now, the next thing you're going to learn is how to actually create your content archives. This is the beginning. This is the actual steps, the beginning steps of deciding your topics that you're going to create your content concierge pages per se. So instead of having that one single lead capture page, you how to start creating your concierge pages. But this is going to be the content topic creation phase. All right. Now, number 3 is organizing your content. What are the steps you need to do now? So let's say you've created your topics. You have a buyer concierge page, a seller concierge, how's the market concierge, etc. Now, how the heck do you do the functional parts of your website to actually make it achieve that concierge style system? What are the functional things, the programming how-tos? And you don't obviously have to do programming because you don't need to do it with the system. But what are the basic how-tos to create these pages in your website? Because it doesn't do this by default, but you have all the tools to do it. And then number 4, create your navigation bar links, because now at this point, once we've gotten past section 2 and 3, you're going to pretty much have your entire content concierge pages done. Your lead capture concierge pages, they'll be all done. So what you need to now do is make it easy for people to get to them. Your navigation bar is the most important place for that. So you're going to see how we're going to create, instead of having a navigation bar that goes to single pages, which is dead end pages I call them, it's going to go to your concierge pages, your buyers, your sellers, your how's the market, etc., your testimonials. We're going to go over all that. And then last, we're just going to cover general additional points. Maybe during this webinar, I might add more points to it depending on what comes up. But basically additional points just for you to think about on how to maximize the effectiveness of your pages. All right? So let's just go ahead and jump in.